Hi, welcome to this video blog. Today I will be talking about certain aspects of the twin flame journey. I've been asked to talk about the narcissistic connection that we might have with our twin flame. But first, and so just bear with me please. First, I would like to talk about why we are meeting twin flames in this day and age. Basically, it's because we are in a transition of era. We are transitioning to the age of Aquarius, and we are in the profound need of changing our belief systems, the belief systems that have created the reality where there are certain solid structures like the economic structure, the political, the religious, the educational pillars that have created the reality. Obviously there are much more, but basically these four pillars are the ones that have created the reality that we share, and that it is obsolete now. So we are in this transition where we need to change to a new platform of reality that is going to be a little more humane, more friendly, more love driven, but not the kind of love we know. Because if we are sincere to ourselves, the kind of love that we have learned and that we have nurtured is the eros kind of love, the egocentric love, where we relate because of stimuli that satisfies our needs and desires. That is quite ego-centered. It's not bad, it's just a very tiny aspect of the power of love. So we are in need of breaking apart, breaking down all the beliefs that we have about who we think we are, so we can actually get to know who we are at the essential level that is very, very deep. And for that, we need to go inside and learn to know how we work, how we function, how we think, how we feel, how much of those feelings and thoughts have been programmed, and that they are so ingrained and they are so part of who we think we are, just because we have repeated them so much that they became part of who we think we are, but they are not. Those are trained, conditioned ideas that had to exist to cohabit in this world at the collective level. So that's why twin flames are meeting, but not only twin flames. There's a lot of purging going on. So soulmates are meeting, karmic relationships are meeting, and there's a lot of purging going on because we need to clean our space, our mental, our consciousness, the most that we can, so we can start in a new reality that's going to be quite different from what we know it now. We are not there yet. We are sort of working through it until we can plant the seeds that are going to help us go and settle in new reality. Most likely, most of us won't live that reality. It's going to take a couple hundred years to do the transition. But we are the seed planters. We can we have the hardest part of the journey, where we change all the obsolete structures that have governed our mind, and we do the transformation by breaking those apart and giving way to a new way of living. So, considering what I just said, the meeting of twin flames is not going to be an easy journey. There's a lot of people in twin flame communities that believe that the twin flame connection is the glorious, perfect, ideal connection in the material world. It is amazing at the soul level. We are one, basically. We are not two at the soul level. But when we come down to the matter, manifested level, matter, we split and we are two. And the two have different vibrations, different lives, different levels of consciousness, and everything could be different according to where each meets in a point in time. For instance, one could be in a very dark place and the other one in a very light place, and they meet like this, or they can meet like this, but not likely this day and age, because we need conflict, we need chaos in order to change our idea of relationships, change our idea of love, change our idea of life, of what matters in life, what's transcendental. And so it is not a nice time to actually, it is the best time. It's not that it's not the best nice time. It is the best time for us to meet with our twin flames, where we can provoke the changes for a new age. Okay? Now, those changes are not going to come in an easy way. Because if we are in our comfort zone, we're not going to change. Why would we have to change if we are in a comfort zone? We have to be taken out of our comfort zone, touched in everything that needs to be healed, that it is completely repressed, that it is not okay in our conscious awareness, in order for us to do what we need to do to prepare ourselves to plant the seed of unconditional love. And when I refer to unconditional love, I'm not referring to the idea, okay, I love you unconditionally, you could do whatever you want, and I'm not going to be hurt. Because unconditional love is not a feeling. It's a level of consciousness, it's a state of awareness that lies beyond duality. Unconditional love we can experience in our manifested level, because it's a consciousness state that we can reach, where we know we are one. So we can speak about, oh yes, I know we're one, but it's not a matter of speaking about it, it's a matter of experiencing that truly at the cellular level, at the atomic level, at the quark level, in order for you to really get what being one really means. When you become aware of that experience, you experience it and you become aware of that notion that we are one, then freedom kicks in. The notion of freedom, inner peace, joy, tranquility kicks in, because our awareness, our consciousness is not living in the separated level, which is temporary, but in the transcendental level where it is eternal or infinite or just transcendental. It has more substance to it, more heart to it, okay? So, when I said twin flames are not easy, I mean that we are not going to have an easy meeting with our twin flame. It's going to be wonderful, it's going to be chaotic, it's going to be full of desires and full of suffering and full of so many things, like a major, big time roller coaster. And it has to be that way in order for us to be stimulated to go beyond suffering, to go beyond this obsession or desperateness, because we are not with our twin flame. We are already one. But we need to really feel it at a core level in order for us to let go of the physical manifestation expectations. And in many meetings, we're going to meet very unequally, and we can meet with a narcissist, okay? And why? First of all, we need to understand what narcissist is. A narcissist is a person that has an over concentrated ego-centeredness that doesn't allow this person to be able to put himself, herself on somebody else's shoes. It's all about me, my needs, my whatever. But it's just me. And one can become like that because of profound wounds and insecurities. I'm not going to get into the details of how a narcissistic personality develops. Excuse me, it's hot here. Thank you. I'm not going to get into that because it's not the subject that I'm trying to focus. And but this person is way extreme ego-centered. Now, we are all ego-centered, but this narcissistic person is extremely ego-centered, okay? And if you just observe yourself, observe other humans interacting when we are driving, when we are interacting with somebody else. For instance, just an example. I'm here talking to you, and suddenly somebody comes and wants to interrupt without considering that we are talking. That is an ego-centered behavior, because that person is thinking about himself or herself and is not considering that what we're going through. But like these little things that I just mentioned, this little example, there's plenty of how egocentric we are. It's not good, it's not bad, it's how we are conformed to live our human experience, okay? And we need to really dig in internally to understand what ego is, to understand how we work in our thoughts, in our feelings, how we carry ourselves in our bodies. Because the tools of the ego are basically the personality tools, which are the thoughts, the feelings, and the body. Those are the tools of the ego. The tools of the soul are intuition, that we need to really clear our perception, our filters of perception, in order to connect with intuition. The wheel of the heart, and abstract thought, abstract thinking, the kind of thought that embraces it all in one. Those are the tools of the soul. And so we need to, if we are in this journey, we need to understand and develop the tool of discernment. So important. Discernment is the most precious tool that we can develop. Discernment doesn't come because I observe and I differentiate or between one and two. It comes from profound understanding and knowing the differences. So it is a wonderful tool that, as every inner tool, we need to develop. Okay? And so yes, we can meet a narcissist in the twin flame journey. Why? Because this narcissistic person is going to push our buttons all the way to hell. We are going to probably visit hell in this relationship. And it's okay. We need to go there in order for us to really, really get some strength to get out from the ashes like the phoenix. Okay? The Kundalini rising needs to happen, and that's another subject. But in this process, when we are really working inside and doing all inner work means going inside. Obviously, we might need help at the beginning if we don't have no idea. We have no idea, no clue how to look inside. We need help. We need to learn how to meditate, how to observe internally, how to contemplate, and just notice question our thoughts, question our feelings. Where do you come from? How did you settle in me? What's your story? So it is a journey that's going to take a while. It's not going to be just, I met my twin flame, I'm suffering now in a month. Next month I'm going to be transformed. No, the transformation process takes decades, lifetimes. So we need to be gentle with ourselves, and we need to learn how to forgive. First, forgive ourselves. Learn to forgive ourselves helps us learn to forgive others. But the learning has to happen in us. So this narcissist, or this traumatic person with full trauma, whatever trauma it is going to push our buttons, is going to really provoke us. And that provoking is going to be the stimuli for us to look for help, to look for solutions, to look for new ways of viewing the situation. As much as the twin flame connections stimulate us to stick to the relationship, at least in the first levels or the first years of connection, because it is so magical, it has so many mystical things going on. Well, that has to happen in order for us to change our attention from the 5 senses to the 6th sense. Okay? That's why it is so, so magical, so beautiful. All the beautiful things, the telepathic connection, the mystical information that we gather, or how we can know or feel the other person. Those things happen in certain stages, but they fade away as well. And that happens so we can be connected in a way and focused completely on what's going on. Otherwise, we won't have the stimuli to really dig into the subtle levels of existence. Humanity has been so focused on the 5 senses, everything outside. Most of us don't have to learn how to look inside. We didn't know. They didn't teach us. And that's how the world has functioned, based on the 5 senses. And the realities that we have created, the belief systems we have created, are totally related to the material world. Okay? We lived it, whatever we did with it, okay? Now it's time to let go. And letting go, by the way, is one of the major lessons to learn in Twin Flame Journey. But in life, in general, this is not only for twin flames. People want to believe that twin flames are, oh my God, the highest souls or whatever. No. I mean, twin flames just are part of the transition, and their mission is to awaken to unconditional love, so we can plant the seeds of unconditional love for the next age. But there are other souls working on other aspects of this transition and change. So no one is better than other because they're doing certain kind of job or certain kind of, part of the cake to go to a new level of awareness. Each group of souls have their mission. And Twin Flame mission is totally directed and focused on love. Many on the journey might not get to the experience of unconditional love because it depends on how much you work on it. But at least if you're doing any sort of work to understand what love really is, it's good enough. It's not going to be, the ultimate, but it is good that you're doing something about understanding love and relationships. That is what we need to work on, the twin flames. By working on ourselves, we go deep inside and really touch into self-love, which is also, I discovered that when my dad passed, and a friend was talking to me about something, and I suddenly realized that self-love is not a feeling as well. It's also a state of awareness, a state of connection, of graceful connection with yourself. I was looking for the feeling. Okay, I need to love myself, so I want a chocolate ice cream, so I pamper myself. That means I love myself. No way, Jose. That's not love. That is totally ego-driven. So ego experiences eros love, which is a little love, and we have agape love, which is the big time unconditional love. And we are looking for love. But the true love that we are looking for is not this ego-centered love. It's actually the unconditional type love. It is a part of our DNA. That's why we know we are looking for this kind of love. We just don't know how it feels because we have not experienced it as a state of awareness, but we are looking for the feeling of unconditional love, and it is not. Oh, gee. Anyway, I think this is something I can stop right now, and so you can think about it and work on yourself to get your own conclusions. Don't believe that what I say is the ultimate truth. It's just what I've come to understand, and there are many more layers to go through to reach a better level of clarity anyway. And if you have not read my book, The Twin Flame, My Journey Towards Unconditional Love, I suggest you give it a try. It is, I did research about it. There's some really great interviews at the QR codes that I did to some transpersonal psychologists that are there that I think you might like, and they're all in English. And you know, the purpose of the book was to sort of I go through not go through the stages like I did in the Twin Flame story, chapter by chapter, and the purpose of that was to just acknowledge our present state of awareness and humanness and psychological state that it's in the collective unconscious, how we've been conditioned to believe in a relationship in a certain way, and how we go through the stages until we reach something deeper. That was the purpose of sharing the Twin Flame story in those 22 chapters that you can find in the channel. Yet in the book is a little more. I did some research about, the origin of Twin Flame concept and some historical relationships that historical and mystical relationships that reflect that, and also. I share my story. I share my story and how it happened to me, and how it happened. The unconditional love experience, and the Kundalini rising, and all that stuff. And also, I share that a chapter about the ego-centeredness, that we have been labeled like Homo sapiens, which means wise man, wise human, but we are far from being wise. What do you think? At least in the present condition of humanity, we are more what I completely believe we are totally ego-centered, and that's just part of our process to reach a more heartfelt experience with others. That's where we're going, that's where we're headed, but we need to do the work of changing that programming and that conditioning, and just do the work. That's what we need to do the work. Give yourself time alone. Sit in meditation. Sit, or if you don't like to meditate, just go do some Zen walking and be in contact with nature, and things will be revealed on time. As you prepare yourself to receive the information, you will receive it. And don't believe that twin flames are here to become a couple, like, a couple and have family. Well, we would lose the purpose of the twin flames. He would lose the mission of achieving the transformation process. And we are going to meet, the twin flames meet in very critical times in history, exactly for that purpose, to change the rooted belief systems that have governed for many centuries. And it is time, please support each other, do your work, and keep on believing that there's something that you will get to, your inner light. Don't believe that every little experience that you have internally is, oh my God, it's the spirit talking. We're going to be deluded many, many times, because ego is very powerful and is what's been governing us for millennia. So ego knows how to trick us so easily. But if you, digamos, if you use the word fail to, I don't want to use that word, but it doesn't come another one right now. If you believe something and then you realize that it wasn't, don't be so hard on yourself. We have to do this trial and error experience many, many times before we really hit it and we really grasp what it is. When we really understand how our soul communicates with us. The soul doesn't, it's abstract thought, doesn't need a whole 20 minutes like I'm doing. Soul just gives us words and feelings or drives with very, very bomb-like. And when we will know that it was the soul talking to us. But we need trial and error. We need to, in our confusion, we need to understand that we will make mistakes. And that's perfectly okay. So just be gentle with yourself in this journey. I'm sorry if this was too long, but I had to concentrate so much information. And I'll leave the link to my book here. I have it in Amazon. And the ego book I have not translated yet, but I'll take the time to do it when I'm done with some projects. And thank you very much for your time. I hope this was helpful, and please do share this with other people if you found it helpful. Thanks so much, and until the next opportunity. Bye bye.